Alright, hello there everyone. Welcome to Corey Loses for the final stream, or final episode, of our Greater Maldrood campaign that we've been doing throughout the year so far, the long year that has been 2022. So we have conquered the vast majority of the galaxy. We've gotten our way up into the Pentastar alignment here. We have one more planet to take from them. Then we have, what, 1, 2, 3... 4, 5, 6, 7 planets of the New Republic, along with 2 Independent Forces planets, and then we'll have the entire galaxy. The Greater Maldrood is going to have everything. So to support us in our conquest of the galaxy in red, as the Greater Maldrood, we have a nice red shirt from Mod Database. Thank you, Mod Database. You're keeping me nice and cozy. It's actually very comfortable. So yeah, go to moddb.com if you want to look at Mod Database. But yeah, so we are going to start off with that invasion of Mutilants for the Pentastar alignment, taking in our nice Imperial forces. So let's just combine all those because we're gonna head south afterwards, and send some Storm Commandos in. We did integrate the Empire. We're one battle away from integrating the Pentastar alignment. Hey, it's not a sellout if they didn't pay me, or is it just more of a sellout for just getting a shirt saying their name? Is that more selling out? I don't know. But you can find out more about selling out at moddb.com then. So we are going to send our Storm Commandos down to that vision. Actually, I should send some of them over here. That's probably a hypervelocity gun on this side. Let's go over there, see how quickly we can get. Yeah, so this is going to be the final episode of the campaign. This is the first campaign in a while that I recorded entirely offline up to this point. So I am going to try to keep that mix up, where we'll have usually a series that's being done offline and a series that's being done on streams on Twitch. But I do want to try to do most of the finales on YouTube like this. Oh crap, there's gonna be an AT-AT nearby. Luckily that is up here. It's gonna be a bit easier for us to kill. Let's get an SPMAG. Let's get a T. And we'll get some HAV, or HRVs. It really bothers me that YouTube made a change where the moderator names in the studio side of it, the moderator names and the member names are no longer in different colors. They still have the icons, but having like all the devs in chat not have the blue name and having like the members not have the green names. Because I think it displays normally for you guys, but it's annoying for me. That's what really matters, is my experience. Okay, this turbo laser one's gonna go down there. I do think it has been nice having the split between the streamed and non-streamed campaigns, because then for people who show up to all the streams, they've still got something to watch video-wise that's new. Oh crap. Okay, kill the Hellfires. They did build some Hellfires as an influence unit, because the Hellfires are they? Yeah, I think that. No, did I make that up? No comment. No comment. Well, they still have the icons, so even though I don't know them by heart, I forget who they are on a regular basis. It does still tell me. It's just I like having the mix of colors. That's all it really is.
Target acquired.
Awaiting orders.
Oh crap. Let's go down there. You are gonna go on this side, and I suppose we want more infantry.
Right away. Copy that.
Where can we?
AT-AT ready.
Well, we'll be able to get this other landing zone. We should have everyone in by then. You can just run. Here, what?
Reporting.
Get in the van. So I don't know if I just have to like open the regular
Armor transport ready.
the regular stream page and like put up
Roger that. On my way.
the regular chat on top of the studio chat.
Walker moving out.
I really don't get why that changed. Like, I'm usually pretty meh on what I usually think are overstated reactions to "they changed it and now it sucks" about most things. But I think this is definitely a case where they changed it and now it sucks. I hope it's just like an accidental change or a bug or something. Okay, they just ran right past it. I did that poorly. ATTE is causing some problems. We should have the HRVs in a second. Are you far out from being able to shell some stuff? Yeah. Right, come down this way. Stop and stare. You should be able to kill that, especially with some healing coming in. So we did lose all of our infantry on this side. That's gonna come down. Okay, now we can get some more infantry. No, we can't. That's healing. That's not a... I don't know why I thought we'd be able to do it. Oh, they're here. There we go. Thanks, Freeze. Oh, crap. Oh, crap. No, I don't get more of you. Alright. You need to go over here.
Yes, sir.
That's gonna be a problem. You know what, Lumaya? Can you just deal with that? Now, get over here. And we can finally make use of our bombing run, maybe.
Bomber standing by.
That's gonna be probably killed by the AA turret.
On my way. We've sighted them.
Are all the new ships in 3.2 going to be available in Fleet Builder or Instant Action? They should be, like, at least 99%. There's still some changes we'll need to make to Instant Action in the future for some of the like PDF style stuff. So there may be some stuff missing for now, but ultimately, like, the long-term plan with it, or like the intention with it, is to have everything.
New coordinates.
At your command. Proceeding.
Thanks to Philoraptor, who had some concerns about some of the transports. I think we did make what's probably the biggest improvement to Instant Action in a while, where we added the CIS transport to it. So
Ready.
Reporting.
Roger.
that's definitely a really positive change that's come in there. So even if there are other like regular units that we've missed, you will be able to get those. I'm gonna just hope that this is a worthy target, whatever's in there. I hope we actually hit it too. We did hit it. It was a worthy target. We didn't kill it though.
Yes, sir.
Comlink active. Receiving orders. Artillery online.
This should be fine.
Transport here.
Now let's go to the right.
Transport ready. On my way. Juggernaut ready.
Don't need to heal everything up yet. And Lumaya, you can go and hunt for any infantry that are being a problem.
AT-AT ready.
Turbo AT-ATs are just so strong.
Roger that.
Like, I think they do the same damage but longer range, which is what you really need.
Moving out. Ready.
Roger that.
Well, actually, the splash is different.
Ready. Cannons charged. And ready.
Form up.
As you wish.
Alright. Bring in some faster ones at this point. You guys can help with the infantry a little bit there more. Hunter saying, I just watched your Scorpionek video and thought, what if you could add a feature that limits what units you have access to if you lose certain planets? I mean, that's kind of already generally what we do with some stuff. We just don't make it global production for that. I don't know that there'd be many cases where we allow galactic production based on having a specific planet. Instead, we'd stick more to like the influence unit style or per planet production.
At your command. Open fire.
Form up, as you wish.
Okay, they are gonna capture the landing or the victory point. Hey, thank you. DB staff. Okay, we got it. It's all ogre now. Any changes coming to skirmish? Definitely.
Right away.
Especially with the changes to like fighters and bombers and units, there's always tuning done there. But there will probably be a video covering skirmish changes. Ranger's been doing a lot with like the structures and research setup and pacing stuff. So skirmish has had a lot of improvements. The fighter and bomber changes in particular do help performance as well. So that should hopefully help a bit with desyncs, just having less of a furball-y mess around all the time, which is a pretty big improvement in itself. But like the way structures are handled is different too. There we go. It's clear the alignment is not meant to restore the Empire to glory. We got ourselves a Pentastar alignment, including Mr. Dekit. Are legitimacy heroes going to be in skirmish? No. Skirmish is already a subset of like main faction heroes, so having oh crap. Having a build bar of like 600 random heroes isn't really something skirmish needs.
Reinforcements ready for action.
Consider adding the Scorpionek? I mean, yeah, it'd be like any other Clone Wars era unit. It'd be an option. It's just a matter of actually making it. Oh crap! Oh, that hit one hard point. Like I think Valoraptor in particular wants to potentially make it at some point, but there's a long list of stuff that we'd like to be able to get in. It's just a question of like what be able to.
Commander here. Reporting. Moving to sector.
We can only add so much of Wikipedia at once.
What are your orders?
I think we'll be able to defend this.
Commander here. Reinforcements.
And then they're kind of in trouble. I'm probably gonna want to kill the RSD first. It's 5600 hull, the 800 hull, 7500. Yeah, that'll be the easiest to take out hull-wise. This 29 pop, 26 pop, or yeah, it's definitely most of the damage coming from the RSD pop-wise.
Reporting. TIE squadron here. What are your orders? Carrot commander here.
Okay, that is about to be hit.
Hypervelocity gun.
Explode. One more should kill that, I think. But the fact that it doesn't have engines now either, that's really helpful. Because that's what? 5 turbo lasers? Light dual turbo, heavy turbo, light dual turbo, light... Okay. Yeah, we should be able to handle that pretty easily. We might even be able to do that with just the bombers and the initial Golan damage. But everything else is going to catch up a bit. So let's let it speed up. You got any units who can board enemy ships? No, not as Maldrood. That's New Republic, Empire, and Hapes only.
Velocity gun available.
See if we can weaken the rest of them.
Space station is under attack.
I think the RSD, being as slow as it is now, isn't going to be
IPV reporting.
a problem. We're going to get a lot of damage in from these bombers up front. Let's try to make sure we
Awaiting command.
take them out. Should have moved up both of those more quickly.
What are your orders?
Alright.
Awaiting your command.
Greater Maldrood is the only GC campaign I actively struggle with. It's always a Zinj death stack like defeat, but then the Empire comes via Roche. Bigger death stack. Part of that is like early usage of heroes. Like all the factions end up with relatively similar amounts of units at once,
Commander here.
but
Carrick en route.
because there's multiple factions, it can be a bit overwhelming. If you're able to hold off against the initial attacks, they do calm down, and like difficulty impacts that a fair bit. But we do want to change in the future to having. Let's actually kill the Corellian Corvettes first. But we do want to change in the future to get rid of some of the earlier free SSDs from some factions in particular. Got a lot of stuff here. I think we need to hit the C80B still.
Reporting. Understood.
If we can kill all these fighters in the CR90s at
What are
least,
your orders?
then it'll be easier for our bombers later on.
Attacking.
Fortunately, they're killing all of it. But what factions are you playing to add in Fall of the Republic? I know Huts, but what else? Huts are the only, like, solid we're definitely getting to it at some point, or we definitely want to get to it at some point faction. But there are some other ones that, for some, like, what-if scenarios or for, like, full map scenarios, that could be viable options.
What are your orders?
Space station damaged.
The fact that that didn't die is very
Charge laser
sad.
cannons.
Okay, well, that's coming over here.
Carrick commander here.
Because, like, we could...
Reporting. Attacking.
We would kind of like to take some of the Hapen units that were around at the
What are
time,
your orders?
and some of the
Carrick en route.
older concepts that Valerie made as kind of like proto-Hapen units, to have a Hapen faction, potentially. Because they would have been around, just obviously still
Carrick
isolationist.
commander here.
So for galaxy maps that are kind of meant to reflect the whole galaxy, they'd be a potential addition.
Reporting.
We do want to kill that.
Reinforcements en route.
Okay. We're actually getting a lot of damage in on those. The bombers really help there. We need these anti-fighter to come in, and it's now turned around, so that's even more helpful.
Locked off.
Gonna start getting some shields back on there. Arc-10s. Come in and maybe kill those CR90s. Black Sun or other crime families. They don't really offer much as Empire at War factions. Like, they didn't have territory, they didn't have militaries, so anything we put in the game for them is just us making that up. Like, there are some places, some mods that, like, do a mix of, oh, this is a holdover Clone Wars units, and here's some other, like, Mandalorian or whatever, but that's not really something we want to do. We have enough other places to use those units. Like, we already have a Clone Wars mod, so doing a bunch of extra Clone Wars factions for TR, and we already have the CSA, which is kind of that. So we don't think there's anything to add by trying to shoehorn in the Black Sun or another just straight-up criminal faction for us in particular.
Carrick en route.
The Black Sun were basically gone at this point, but even at their height, they didn't really do anything militarily. They didn't have territory, so they don't really make much sense to try to include as far as we're concerned for how we do TR.
What are your orders? Charge laser cannons. Attacking.
Right. probably a decent chunk of their defenses on Bilbringi. Yeah, that would have come from Bilbringi, which we're going to move down to. And move you down here. You're actually going to go into Tiberia's fleet. I'm going to start combining them a little bit. This is our other integrated fleet.
Reporting.
I'm going to put them in the core.
Coming around.
How are we doing for resources and everything? Not bad. I am going to save because we're about 20 minutes in. Including the Chiss and Fall of the Republic being the realm of possibility. Yeah. Like the Chiss, the Hapens, they're both around. It's just how much of what we've made for them for other situations can apply, and then how much would we have to fill in the gaps for, and then to what extent is that actually worth it? Because I personally like having a lot of factions, but at the same time, we only have so many resources to go around, and we have like a lot of projects we're already working on. So there is ultimately a limit to that. Can only take it so far. Gyaradoc, you're gonna go there. And I'm gonna give him a Secutor.
Proceeding. I'll be there. On my way.
And we've got our whole ground situation.
Building
That. Do that.
under construction.
We have some Dark Jedi.
I understand. Building
That.
construction.
Beginning construction.
Because like we have the Siruvi, the Huts, the Vong, the Killix, etc. to do for TR. On top of like the Sith, the Mandalorians, and the Republic for Revan's Revenge, and then there's other factions that tend to fit the period with less shoehorning or less of us having to be
Complete.
setting them up as either what-if maps or just being available in the full galaxy maps. Because, like, we could make a slight variation of the Chiss for Fall of the Republic, or somewhere down the line we could have, like, the, I don't know, Alsacon being a faction in Revan's Revenge.
There they are. Blast them.
Okay. Bilbringi. You used to have some capital ships here to defend you,
Reinforcements.
but not any longer.
Heading to destination.
Reinforcements.
Understood.
I think it's still going to be better for us to focus on these small ships rather than trying to put in the Secutor right away. Well, we probably do want the Secutor for some fighters here.
Location confirmed. Location confirmed. Moving to sector.
Which
Carrick en route. We're moving out.
would be good now. There's a lot of fighters and bombers there. We might even want the missile shield for that. We'll probably want our own carriers.
Go after them. Reporting. Star Destroyer standing by. Awaiting orders.
Just should definitely be in R because of how much they did in Thor. I mean, at first especially,
Star Destroyer.
Revan's Revenge is about the Mandalorian Wars through KOTOR 2. So, Tor doesn't apply quite as much. We will probably eventually get there, but it'd be, like, separate sets of content within the same mod, or depending on, like, if we get to it and decide it makes more sense, then it'd be potentially a separate mod. But again, like, that's another situation where it's a ton of new assets that we may never actually get there. What can you buy after integrating the Pentastar alignment? Nothing. The Empire and the Greater Maldrood are the only ones of the main playable factions that integrate, giving you the Stormtroopers and the Crimson Command. Because Crimson Command canonically went between at least 3 of the factions based on who either just like took them outright or who still survived at that point. And then the stormtroopers are kind of the sign of, okay, you are now the Empire. We've won over the stormtrooper corps.
Ready for command, sir. Awaiting your command.
Alright, let's actually most of their stuff down. We don't want to go too far up because there is quite a bit out there. But we've managed to hold on through these initial bombing runs pretty decently.
Yes, sir.
Had enough
TIE squadron.
fighters and anti-fighters to stop a lot of the damage, but not all of it. And we still have some power to weapons up.
Target locked.
They've got their Hajines.
Awaiting your command.
We're going to start moving up a little bit. The Secular and the ISD should be able to protect themselves, especially if we have the strike cruisers coming through.
Yes, Commander. He won't be around much longer.
We don't have the most bombers, but we have enough. More about us having enough fighters to stop the New Republic.
Reporting. Understood.
Alright, now you stay there. You stay there.
Target critical. I've got him. Bomber target. Warm up. Fire at will.
It's like we have a lot of people working on the mod, and we work pretty fast, but it's also really easy to just say, oh yeah, this thing is cool, we want to do 37 of that, and then it just ends up not being reasonable. So committing to doing 5 mods with 30 unique factions, you gotta try to manage priorities there, at least a little bit. The Gorath strike cruiser coming in 3.2? No, that'll be in 0.3. It's in the folder of stuff that's already done, but not going to be in 0.2. Which has, like, at least 10 units in it, I think. Not to mention all the stuff that's, like, modeled and ready for texturing. Any thoughts into giving the Chiss and Dawn's Revenge a bigger unit than the Antigo? They probably won't get one. It's nice having some factions that don't have the SSD as an option. Like the Chiss and Empire of the Hand and Havens are kind of nice for that. Whereas most other factions have something they'd probably get in that class. The Chiss would be more likely to get it than the Empire of the Hand, who are definitely not getting one. But like, because of 90s fun with source books and stuff, there are some source books which are like the biggest ships the Chiss had are 300 meters, which is not a great take for a source book, but we're not obligated to give them a super large unit. Oh yeah. Philo's probably right on.
Watch your back.
Ready for command, sir. Eliminating target.
This Altor is struggling a little bit. It's not in the worst shape.
Getting a lock. Intercepting. Ready for orders. Squadron standing by. I'm on them. Excellent shot. Leader subject. I got one. Stay in formation.
Alright. Let's move these up a little bit more.
Won't be around much longer.
Still gonna have some defenses from the shipyard coming in.
Target locked. I have them now. Eliminating target.
Yeah, even with the ISDs always being present, I think we with the basically 3 types, there's usually different emphases each one has. So like the ISD one being more ion based, it means you usually have to have something else coming in with the turbo lasers. And like we used very limited ISDs in this play, partially because the Altor is a bit OP right now, tending from it. But that'll still generally be how the Maldrood plays anyways.
Eliminating target.
Our target priority is the laser cannons.
Bombers, can you just go for the shipyard now? That's going to be taking you past some anti-fighter.
Your command, sir. Cruiser ready.
They can't leave, so
Excellent
you
shot.
don't need to worry about those ground units. It does mean that that Belbringi's surface is going to be riddled with ground units.
Lock weapons and fire.
I've got him.
That Corvette is going to cause problems for these bombers, but we should still be able to break through there. I don't think they get another one. Okay, you can just go over and kill all them. You as well. Why not?
I got one.
Frequency open. Firing on their lasers.
Need to actually use the
Assaulting cruiser reporting.
Lots of frigate
the
reporting.
broadsides for something,
Command. Yeah.
and mostly relaxing this battle.
Gun crews make ready. Increase power to weapons. Lock
I've
weapons.
got him.
I don't think Darksaber would end up counting as an SSD.
Station. Gun crews make ready. Increase power to weapons.
Awaiting orders. Stay in formation.
Lock weapons.
Go over and
Move to attack. Move to attack. Ready for action. Ready to fire. Sir,
Copy.
Sir,
Yes, Commander.
I've got him. I've got him. Roger that. Enemy forces sighted.
oh, good. Go chase them down. They don't need to be alive. They can go.
Command. Yeah. Station is
Get
on
behind them.
Gun crews make ready. Increase power to weapons. Lock weapons and fire.
All right, now it's just hunting down those corvettes. The New Republic does still have one more major shipyard in Fondor, so it's not just Belbringi.
Roger that.
Locking on.
Closing on target.
Form up. Navigating. I'm on them.
Roger that.
But with Belbringi gone, that's
Location
going to be
Regroup for another
the end of the attacks on Ord Mantell.
changing course to intercept.
We'll need to get in there pretty quick to Polani.
Count on head full.
I don't know that they'll have much of a fleet there, because they did attack Polani, or they attacked Ord Mantell like
Nice one.
2 or 3 times and lost a fair amount each time. There's another CR-90.
Lock weapons and fire.
Awaiting orders.
Got all the transports down.
Cruiser ready.
Coming around.
Are you planning to take every planet? Yes.
Gun crews make ready. Awaiting orders. Target confirmed. Destroying lasers.
All 7 of the New Republic's planets will become ours. Plus the Independents. Imperial 2. Did what we had to.
Unit in production.
We will get some vision of what's left.
Constructing.
Unit in production. Vehicle in production. Constructing unit.
So that's fine. Oh, they have a ground to space weapon.
I'm going.
Do you have any idea of when the Yavithans or Siruvi are going to be playable? Yavitha probably sooner than later. We have a slightly lower standard for what needs to happen for the Yavitha to be playable, because they were playable before, so that's more of a storing thing. Siruvi would probably still be a while, so hopefully they'll show up
Construction complete.
in independent forces. I don't know why I sent a probe in where the mic, but the Siruvi stuff, at least some of their ships will hopefully start showing up in point 3, because we do have the Yavithan or the Siruvi ground infantry done, which is
Production.
one of the trickier parts for them because they're dinosaurs, as well as a couple ships for them. Very rough versions of the ships. They are really lacking in space there. Arsk is on. Ooh. This was a regular revolt, so these are some of the mercenaries. Nice Providence, Assaultac. Condor, that's 9. You have 8. Have 7. Okay. There's going to be 6 on the next one. I've seen these numbers before. I know what they mean. Is it? Nope. Never mind. Numbers lied to me. Okay, well, the reprisals for the lying numbers are now. A lot of infantry. But what was it? It was a government building, the grounded space weapon, and then was it a shield? Yeah, that would be there.
Choose your reinforcements.
Yeah, let's get some transports in, some mats, and Nemesis.
En route.
The Nemesis is not gonna help that much against infantry. A lot of these are.
Advancing. Squad, move out. Ready for recon.
Where are you going?
Gearing up.
Stop it.
Almost there.
Yeah, that was some real sick moves there, but it's time to
Scanning the area.
go up here.
Awaiting orders. Squadron moving out. Copy. Lancet proceeding.
And
The enemy is approaching.
be some Jedi.
Awaiting destination. Weapons ready. Scouts for action. Affirmative, sir. Scouts over reporting.
Okay, ion cannon first.
I copy. Open fire.
Yes.
Most of you go over there. One of you
I'll be
go up
there.
on the hill.
This should be fun.
Reporting. Attack the target. Command received. Attacking target.
Copy. Targeting rebels.
Once we have this secured, we will send in some ISPs. Definitely some ISPs. Maybe some ATPTs as well. Artillery would be pretty good. And a LAT? A LAT and an IDT. Let's just have all the gunships in one. Well, most of them.
Ready.
Really all.
I copy. Swamp speeder ready. I copy.
Because I'm just not sure how we're going to kill Luke.
Reporting. Swamp speeder reporting. On the way. Ready for command, sir.
Okay, you get back here.
Heading out. Aerial artillery reporting. Ready for orders. That's ready.
Yes, sir.
There are some vehicles here.
Waiting your orders.
I guess Luke versus Lumaya could work out. I have a feeling that actually ended poorly, but seems like Lumaya is hiding in the reinforcement pool currently.
This way.
Alright, let's get into the base with them.
Activated.
Always ready, sir.
And everyone else over here. You've got to catch up with your friends, sorry. Uh-oh.
Receiving orders. As you wish.
Unit destroyed.
Blast them out. Squadron moving out. Lancet proceeding. Attacking. Roger that.
Okay, let you can kill the infantry, please.
Engaging. Command received. Right away. Moving out. have the target in
There's
sight.
the barracks.
Copy. Initiate.
That'll probably all die to AA turrets, but
Commence attack.
at least it's here. Oh, where are you going? Where are you going? Come back.
Yes, ready to go. We've sighted
Bring in them so we can see another thing.
following your lead.
Officially too many unit types. Okay, will they make it past that AA turret down there? The fact that we cleared this one out. Okay, it's just out of range of that. How high they are, I think. Okay, don't give them the opportunity. There you go. Now everyone go home. Float right out. There is Mr. Skywalker. Alright. Stuff that is
Yes, Commander.
not infantry
Sighted. Ready.
can shoot him.
Where do you need me? I'll get the drop on him.
Send some Dark Jedi in. Okay, you are also going to want to kill him. Yeah, kill him. He's dead. He's gone. There he goes. Master Skywalker. What are we going to do? Alright. They had a lot of infantry. They're not getting any more infantry. Actually, I guess from that one field base they are, but... once we're down to those being the only infantry, I think we're not going to be complaining. Did they have any AA turrets on the victory point?
All out. Let's move out. Always ready, sir.
That's an AV turret, so you don't want to be in there. A lot of these are lacking a bit in the AV department, I think, or like the AA department.
Here they come. Awaiting orders.
Good job dying, Dark Jedi.
Heading for attack position.
We do need to change how they're handled. There's a whole spreadsheet of different Jedi types, and Force user types rather,
Attack. Ready.
that we're
This way. Fire.
going to be working on. Especially with Revan's Revenge, there's going to be a bigger focus, obviously, on needing to have the generic Jedi gameplay worked out a little bit better than it is.
Engines activated. Receiving orders.
Ready. Over there. Fire.
All right, good job, team. You just deploy. You guys can take over the victory point.
Artillery reporting.
Yes, Commander.
As you wish. Ready for orders.
I'm here.
This one has done their job. They're just chilling.
Should be fun.
So we can solve this problem through a very surgical strike.
Bombing run available.
I copy.
Squadron moving out. On my way.
Unit destroyed.
Oops. Yep, you didn't... I didn't intend for you to be there. But you're all just clearing up some other forces for me. It's good.
Ready for command, sir. Waiting your orders.
I should just not do any of that ever. Stuff in Revan's Revenge be strictly KOTOR stuff, or think from Star Wars Torpedo. period appropriate stuff from Tor will be used, but like you're not going to see Tor era stuff in the Mandalorian Wars, for example. There are a few KOTOR things that made it to Tor era. I think a couple things in Tor that are around during KOTOR, that stuff is fair game. And if we do ever get to the point where we're doing like Tor specific GCs, then they'd be in. But the focus will be on doing the Mando Wars through KOTOR 2, especially at first. We may eventually get to Tor stuff, we may not. Just kind of depends how long we end up working on the mod for. Alright, let's get another save in there before we move to Palanhi. We'll want to take Selenon as well before I forget it's up here. We'll take Palanhi, then we'll take Selenon before moving on to the bottom corner. This is going to be the Joint Kosh and Tavira Task Force.
I'll break them.
You guys... Oops. Faster.
The enemy has been spotted.
The Kreia will have her own faction. Kreia would not be
Choose your reinforcements.
standalone faction.
Navigating to coordinates. Flank speed. Move out.
The Sith will stay like one faction with
Confirm.
different progression types.
How fun.
Moving out.
Let's put in our Inric there.
Ahead full. Increase the flank. Ahead full.
Choose your reinforcements.
Advancing. Confirm. Right way. Former cruiser reporting. Attack that.
What do you want?
Yes, sir. Receiving orders.
Destroyer awaiting command. Awaiting your command.
Roger that.
Copy. The lasers are on target.
Gunship reporting.
There's like, yeah, there's
Fire at their laser cannon.
differences between like prior Sith and Revan Sith and whatever. But you could say the same thing about the post-Dala Empire technically being distinct from the Empire previous to that, and like the different leaders of the Empire being essentially their own factions.
Force you want to
But
talk to me.
for gameplay progression, for map setup, like it just makes sense to make that stuff as
Star Destroyer
as one, rather than trying to do like each splinter thing.
Under control.
Firing on their lasers.
They do kind of build on each other.
Returning to your position. I got him. I'll take care of this.
Target. Weapons ready. Attack position.
Right, that
Bring the attack.
awaiting orders.
doing more damage to us than I'd hope.
Increase power to weapons.
Being invidious.
We have
Trying to command.
about as many units as we could possibly ask for in
At your command.
our fleets now. We have like 700 integrated pop cap. All this stuff, this release, what faction do you say is the most powerful overall? I mean, the way we design stuff is we try to make each faction be balanced against each other. Overall faction power obviously will vary based on different galactic conquest setups, but like 300 pop cap should be 300 pop cap. Like, we don't build around having one faction just end up being stronger than others that way.
Ready to
Like,
receive orders.
the faction with the most powerful starting position is definitely
Move to attack.
New Republic Era 7,
We're in
because they
attack.
control like 90% of the galaxy. But
Gun crews make ready.
Commander, fire.
Commander on deck.
there are also like some factions are a bit more generalist, which can make them a bit easier to play.
Increase the
So the New Republic and the Empire
lock weapons.
being kind of the beginner factions, they can build your fleets kind of around anything, whereas other ones have a bit more define. Like, they still have their own unique differences, but
Yes, sir.
they don't have quite the same, this is the carrier faction, the small ship faction, whatever other factions tend to.
I got fighters on me. Reporting in. Target sighted. I'm running out of maneuvers.
Commander. Ahead full.
Get over here and help. I'm losing my
Right.
engine.
Increase power to weapons.
Ready for duty. Attack. I'm under attack. Fire.
No, it's just that CR90.
Fire. I'm getting torn apart. I'm in a tight spot.
Station.
Stay in
Come on, just kill it.
Lock weapons.
Go a little bit closer then. Fine.
I got one.
We are victorious.
Okay, Poloni. Barracks is there, production there. I should probably split this up a little bit more. You. Oh. Well, we probably need a couple more infantry on that. The Dark Jedi on this. Maya can stay here. Artillery, turbo laser AT-AT, other artillery. You. There. We'll put those ones over there. Ones like this. That should be split up pretty well. Send these ones to follow Paradox. To actually send over there. Need to take Selenon. Then we will invade
Invasion commencing.
another infantry zone. Nice little rabbit face.
Choose your reinforcements. Reinforcements en route.
Oh yeah, I guess the Hailfire is just because old starting force.
Order, sir.
It's not an influence. I definitely overruled. I think I overruled.
Reporting. Right away, sir.
Setting course.
I can never remember things anymore.
set.
At maximum unit capacity.
Want to kill the shield.
Enemy unit sighted.
Maya, you want to take the landing zone. So many infantry coming. Need to grab that one for sure,
Awaiting orders.
rather than pushing past the next one.
Ready.
We've secured a landing zone.
And
Battalion standing by.
Transport here.
this is going to be a situation where it's better for us to, yeah, just focus all on one area.
Order acknowledged.
Get artillery,
Moving to coordinates.
get some of the fresh sabers, get those hailfires, and
At
I think a bit more infantry.
capacity.
Yes, sir.
Our own infantry.
On my way. Moving to fire.
Okay. Go in and support that. It should at least last until we get over there.
Armor ready. Deploying. Reporting. Moving out. Targeting.
Okay, you can definitely deal with all those infantry.
Avoiding fire.
Especially if you have your special ones helping you. Nope, get over there.
Unit destroyed.
Reporting in.
Spreading out.
Start
Let's get some hovery boys. Okay. Things are going well on the RP front here. We're role-playing our way to victory. To the front, and I guess we'll establish our artillery up at this next one. We didn't drop it there. Kill you.
Commander. Yes, sir.
Which one of the warlords that saw speaking would have won an all-out fist fight? I think Aerodok had the most weight to throw around.
Give me a target.
So he'd probably be a safe bet. Any, like... I think Trayton also tended to, like, carry around a cutlass. So, I don't know if that would have been confiscated on the way in. But that would be probably a benefit to him. Thank you, Fat Man Rolling, for the $17 donation, saying, "What did the sick medium say to the hospital staff and other patients? I'll be here all week."
Unit destroyed. Unit destroyed.
Thank you. I guess I do need to set up the next donation goal, because we did hit the prior one. So that'll actually probably be next week that we do the New Republic single stream galactic conquest, because we had our poll on what everyone wanted to see next, and the New Republic did in fact win that one. Hopefully they don't kill us. Ooh, is it actually making it? It is. Sweet.
What are your orders? Right away. Providing covering fire. Orders, sir.
So if we get some of these to go through the middle now, because they're going to be coming around this way. So we'll need some sabers. I'm mostly going to be focusing on taking out the base, but trying to get moving in the other, back to the starting point would be a terrible idea.
Missile ready.
And we'll have to just kind of hold the middle here.
Awaiting orders. Yes, sir.
You can kill those. You guys are struggling.
Copy. I copy.
We have vision-wise. Not really anything that I can set up there. Alright, let's start moving to the next target. That is still a lot of infantry that are okay over here. Get that one. Okay, well, let's send them up to this structure. See whatever that is. We're about to get 2 more of these landing zones secured. Mr. Puerto Rican is working on the new 2M to match with the fancy new Saber tank. A really good job on those. The 2M won't be in point 2, but, which I think is a shame of a lost synergistic name opportunity, but understandable. Things take time after all. These are mine. Oh no, these are self-destructive. I don't know when those ones are.
Ready.
I think we need to just go around because this is going to be a tough
Moving out.
fight for them.
Selected.
Yes, sir. Heading out.
Okay, they have just the one structure left.
Copy. I copy.
Get any of the Ariata units if you integrate them. So the only factions that unlock new units are the Greater Maldrood and the Empire. But for all of them, you get basically whatever they have left. So you can integrate a small amount of the units they have. Or that they'd have access to. Even if you can't build them. 'Cause we are trying to keep the faction playstyles as tight as we can.
Beginning construction. Building under construction.
Begin
Until anyone gets
construction.
access to Dark Empire.
Beginning Construction.
Then all bets are off. Alright, to Vera... There's really only the one access.
How fun!
Clear for departure.
Go around on there.
Transmission received.
Heading out.
Here's how you and the team come up with your designs for ships that never receive official images.
Construction complete.
There are a few where Valerie or Farshot had done some concept images, so they do designs of them. There are also a bunch where, for the Thrawn Emperor, for example, the Saratzel does the model as he designs them with the old Empire of the Hand ships. That's what I did. Saratzel did the new Empire of the Hand ship designs that way. So for stuff that has like any kind of known design information, we track down as much as that as we can, like any descriptions, and try to work those in as much as possible. Like the Mandator 3, there was as many references to the Megador actually that Farshot went and looked for, trying to design it based on that because we were retconning the Mandator or the Megador as a Mandator 3. There's like a bunch of information that Nolan has compiled on like the Maelstrom for when someone gets to that. So Valerie has done a initial pass on a concept for that. It just kind of depends who ends up working on it. Yeah, so when you get the Imperial factions down to 3 planets left as the standard, on smaller maps it will be lower, but you get whatever forces are left on those planets. With some other criteria, like their leader has to be dead, they can't have an SSD, that kind of stuff. But
I call, babe.
that is the way it works. We actually don't need that. We're just invading Selenon this way. I should probably spy on it. Ooh, that's quite a fleet. Creation.
Look, sir, it's them.
Choose your reinforcements.
Moving out.
I'm gonna put the Secutor back in there.
Moving out.
We're gonna drop a bunch of anti-fighter.
Moving out.
Carrick en route.
Increase the flank. Ahead forward.
Understood. Heading out. Moving to sector.
I say a bunch, but it's not that much.
Heading out, sir.
Reporting.
I put in the Dominator last battle as a protection against the
The lasers
missiles, and then I never activated the ability.
Awaiting your command.
I'll activate the ability this time. And now we'll actually start shooting things.
Cruiser ready. Gun crews make ready.
Fire for maximum effect.
Yikes, the Secutor. We have gotten it killed.
They're hitting us.
It was part of an enemy force, so
Fall out. Let's move out. Let's go.
Carrick en route. Fall out.
I have little sympathy for it. It's a traitor.
Yes, Commander.
That's definitely what's happening here.
He's headed your direction.
Yes, Commander.
Locking on.
Disabling their ion cannons.
Ready for battle. Enemies in range.
The conquering's going well. This is the last major New Republic fleet, I think.
Increase power to
I think
weapons.
they have much, if anything, on remaining
Target
planets.
lasers. Where'd he go? Tightening up. Sir, Roger that.
New stations on standby.
Nowhere to run.
Getting worse performance than I typically have been. I'm gonna close some other programs. All right.
I've got him. I've got him. Warm up. Awaiting out of formation.
It's also a very fighter-heavy battle, which doesn't help.
Draw their fire. Weapons ready. Copy. Let's finish him.
Let's move some of these guys in a little bit closer.
Attacking.
I've got him. Sir, Attack.
Reporting.
Them over there.
Get behind the lock. Instruction. Target locked.
Lock weapons and fire.
Go after the straggler. Watch your back.
Yeah, that's most of their capital ships are getting low. We are basically sacrificing that Secular.
Eliminating target.
That one's one and done. Let's try to kill the Quasars as well.
Cruiser reporting.
So, broadsides focus down on the MC-90.
Holding fire for maximum effect.
Copy.
Destroyer.
I've got
here.
him.
And Pterodok, are you still safe? Yeah, you're good. You can probably do power to weapons on that.
Cruiser ready.
You guys as well. You can just stay on the MC-90. We'll try to focus fire on it. Just want to take down this this assault frigate before it causes too many problems for the
What are your orders?
VSD.
Come about. Charge laser cannons.
Awaiting your command.
My scopes are jammed.
You can kill this other Quasar.
Cruiser ready.
Coming around. I've got them in my sights. Sir, where are the others? I got one. Coming back around for another.
Weapons armed.
Getting a lock. Intercepting. Closing on target.
Alright, that all broke through.
I'm on.
But we can probably switch to the other ones now.
Reporting.
Sir,
Direct fire on the engine.
Sir, I've got him. Enemies in range.
We've lost our launch bay.
Stay in formation.
Now, let's kill the CR-90s. Make sure our fighters are staying safe. Now that we've eliminated a lot of the capital threat.
Target locked.
Roger that.
And
Target.
that Secular is now history.
Intercepting. I've got him.
Carrick Commander here.
Get behind him.
You can drop the Tector and another broadside over here. Pursuit. Now it's really just the heroes left for capital ships. Is there a way to improve the huntability so fighters aren't into Nebula? No, we can't change the behavior around Hunt at all. It's just, it is what it is.
Target locked. Sir.
Copy. I copy.
Awaiting orders.
Eliminating target.
Our launch bay has been disabled.
He won't be around much longer.
Okay, there's still another CR-90 right there. We've killed most of them.
Systems online.
That broadside is probably dead.
Reporting.
It did a lot of good back there. Unlike Wedge.
Losing power. Copy. Frequency open.
Okay.
Intercepting.
Losing control.
Star Destroyer standing by.
Taking fire.
Gladiator to command.
Commander, they're hitting us.
Destroy their fight bay.
Come on. Lock weapons.
Stay in formation. Target locked. Target critical. I have them now.
Increase power for weapons.
That Quasar's being blocked for. There we go, now it's dead.
Excellent shot.
That should be the end of their fighters, I think.
Gun crews, make ready.
What are your orders?
Vigils.
Got them in my sights. Enemies got me.
Attacking.
Nowhere to run.
Stay
Coming back around. Target.
Probably want to kill the Hajin.
Eliminating target.
Not going to heal the
Getting alarmed.
Corvettes at all.
Intercepting.
And what are we looking on this side?
I'm on.
The Altor is taking a lot of damage. We don't actually have much tanky
Excellent shot.
stuff on this side anymore.
Increase power to
So let's go there.
Open fire.
And you can finish off Burke.
Destroy those
And Talon right after.
Holding fire.
Focus fire on the turbo laser banks.
Come on.
I copy. Advancing on target. Draw their fire. Attack formation.
Okay, now we can just take out everything they have on this side.
What are your orders?
Send that away, but I don't know if it'll actually make it anymore. You can stop your ability.
Detected.
Awaiting orders. Attack that target.
Reporting in, sir. Heading there now, sir.
That's good.
Locking on this one. He's about to be destroyed.
Gun crews, make ready.
Enemies in range.
Awaiting your command.
Golan.
Stay in formation.
Copy.
Where are those other
I
broadsides?
copy.
No slacking. Get over the Golan. No slacking. Get cracking.
Stay.
Although Aaron is not in this battle.
Increase the
He's headed your direction.
increase power to weapons.
Coming around.
Your command, sir.
Target.
Holding in.
Carry command.
Now the Altor can just stay there.
In my sights. Narrowing position.
Reporting.
They can all move in.
Gladiator to command.
Probably should have left the broadside on that. I don't know that I really want to move up the pursuit.
Lock weapons and
It's going to be
Reporting. Understood.
losing shields in a second if it gets focused, but the Tector's getting focused instead, so it's probably fine.
Fire at will.
Let's go to the shipyard with them. Broadsides are going to stay on you.
I copy.
I don't know why you're ion cannoning my broadside.
Reporting.
Just surrender.
form up.
What does the Altor do? Yeah, it heals your ships. It's a large fleet tender. It has some weapons of its own, carries some fighters, but you're bringing it for massive AoE heal for
What are your orders?
your little guys.
Charge laser cannons. I copy. Coming around.
Ready. Forward. Reporting. Attack that target.
Stations on standby.
Carrot commander here. Attacking.
On to the shipyards.
Come on.
Can you use it alongside a Bellator? Technically you can, but it wouldn't be a great use for for the Altor, because that's a ton of your pop cap that it's not really going to be able to do much for. You generally want to use it in a fleet with a bunch of smaller ships, like what we're doing here. Degradation.
Intercepting. Commander, they're hitting us. I'm on them.
Gun crews make ready.
Alright.
Increase power to weapons.
So we'll get the probe droid in here to spy on them before we invade. See what they have. But I think it's only a 3-planet, or a 3-slot planet. And we know they have an ion cannon, so...
Fire.
Awaiting
Command.
Probably the ion cannon, the government building... And who knows what else. Lose something to the rollover there. The poor little vigil. Okay, it's 4-slot, so that changes everything. This detail you missed in The Mandalorian changes everything. Okay, that's it. For a second, I thought I was seeing an endurance. You build your capital anywhere? Yep. Your capital can be rebuilt on any planet. Just expensive. And they have a tax agency, because we can see the taxation level. Yeah, tax agency. Planetary shield, ion cannon, government. Plus they have a few infantry. Not as much infantry as some of the prior stuff.
Reporting.
So ground army beta. Going.
Order acknowledged.
And let's get
Beginning construction.
Yes,
jump
Commander.
troopers.
Order, sir.
Let's go left.
Reporting. Moving to that area, sir.
We're not going to be able to get to that central landing zone. Is there a map where I can retake Ariados, Delvardas from the core? Yep, you can start in
Awaiting orders.
any era after 1
Construction.
as Ariado Authority on any of the progressives. You'll have your core stuff,
Heading
but
out.
you don't have the
Yes, sir.
Outer Rim stuff
All
anymore.
out troops. Let's move out.
Why does the AI spam infantry? They only had barracks left on their planets.
Roger. Let's go. Reporting in.
They didn't have anywhere else that they could build
Form up.
other unit types.
This way. Awaiting orders. Copy. Over there. Moving out. Inbound. I copy.
What?
Beginning construction.
Reporting.
We're not getting that.
Yes, Commander. Order, sir.
Our base is under attack.
Reporting.
When you're progressing through eras in game, that only changes like heroes and tech and story.
Construction complete.
But when you're choosing your starting era,
Right away, sir.
that changes how the map is set up. So the starting forces, if you start in era 2, are very different from, or 2 and 1 are pretty similar, but
Move out.
they're different each era.
Reporting in.
Choose your reinforcements. Reinforcements en route.
Order acknowledged.
Like if you start in era 2, Ariado has been pushed back into the deep core. If you start in era 3, Zinja's gone.
Form up. Right away.
Ready to receive orders. Open fire. Comlink active. Transit proceeding.
Awaiting orders. Copy. I copy.
This one, not super useful. It doesn't have the... Thank you, Nico, for the $20, saying, probably my favorite playthrough. Love the integration mechanic and roster changes. Thanks for the quality content. Glad you're enjoying it. Thank you very much. Hopefully the playthroughs will only get better as the mod improves. Otherwise, I'm in trouble. It'd be very sad if the mod got better, but then the playthroughs got worse. Would I then have to sabotage the mod?
Keep going.
Awaiting orders.
Even Ariadu is getting pretty close to being done, the Ariadu playthrough. So we will be starting the Hapens like 2 weeks from now, but we gotta figure out what we're doing beyond that too. Because the Hapen one is gonna replace this one, but I don't know what we're gonna be doing in place of the Ariadu one. We've got the New Republic playthrough that's gonna be a single stream one, but because we're like getting into the beta period for Thrawn's Revenge as well. Fall of the Republic is already in beta, so maybe I'll end up doing a Fall of the Republic one. As the Republic, it's been a while.
Destination set.
Let's
On my way, sir.
do.
How can I help?
We got the PA heavy vehicle, the Empire heavy vehicle, and the Maldrood heavy vehicle, all in one spot.
Reporting in.
A veritable coalition of Imperial mediocrity. You gonna be able to hold off on this side? I think we need some of the ATSTs, and
Reporting.
ooh, they have the planetary shield as well.
Reporting. Right away.
Let's go over to the side on that. And do we have any other air units? We
I
don't.
copy. Moving out.
How can I serve the Alliance?
Go around this way then.
Copy.
I can protect it with an AA.
Yes, sir. Heading out.
Because we'll want to get up to the landing zone up here. It can be kind of tricky because you got to go past the midpoint on this
Yes,
map.
sir. Heading out. All out, troops.
Awaiting orders.
Yes, Commander. Destination ahead. Let's move out. Let's go.
Just gonna chase you down.
Attack that target. Attack the target. Keep going. This way. Over there. Engines activated.
If you're safe
Receiving
up
orders.
here,
As you wish.
we can at least pull them over. Technically, we don't really need that landing zone. We just want to kill the field base if it's up there.
Heading to destination.
Maybe we'll put those in the middle. Okay, we need to kill those tanks. Get back there, ATSTs. You need to kill that AT-AT. Are these ATSTAs or no? Just ATSTs.
I can do that.
New coordinates. All out.
Reporting.
Roger that.
We'll send these three over the other direction.
What are your orders?
Yes, Commander.
But more.
Scouting area. Standing by. Scouting location.
Gargantuan ready. Attacking.
You gotta deploy. Thank you.
Ready. I copy.
My mistake.
Enemy spotted. Waiting orders. Keep going. Providing backup.
That side. Do we have top cap for artillery? We do.
Acknowledged.
So maybe I'll actually send
Commander.
one of you to the middle there.
Order, sir.
We can capture that and then drop artillery on it.
reporting in. Belt Iblis here. Let's get this thing moving. Reporting.
Oh, I guess you kill them. And we have a jump trooper that made it here. Just one jump trooper. Does it ever get stressful juggling on the project? Kind of. I mean, the mods are a hobby, so it's usually more... It only gets stressful if there's like a major bug that needs to be fixed that's like stopping everything or particularly near beta, or if there's something that's like a major part of the mod where there's large sections of the team disagreeing on what we should do. Even small sections of the team with, or small sections of the mod with large parts of the team disagreeing on what we should do. That can get stressful, but ultimately it's for fun. I do struggle with balancing working on the mod with working on the channels, existing as a human in other ways. It's like doing Twitch plus 2 YouTube channels, it's a lot to try to do daily content almost for each one. Like Datapad, kind of accept I'm never going to be doing daily content on Datapad, but I try to have a video every day on top of a stream every day. And as much as it's like, it's not a hard job playing games for it. Coming up with videos can be hard, and like doing the video editing and the animation for Datapad videos, that's hard, but it's a lot of work. It's not quite as fun as just playing a video game. I don't know. I need to kind of figure out what I want to focus on each one. Datapad's been the hardest to nail down content. I do like doing the animated campaign breakdowns and everything, but those only do so well. Like they do really well for the channel where it's at, but
Building started.
I don't know that they're necessarily as good for growth. So balancing doing some of those versus something else. A thing. Let's invade some more warlords. Let's send our integrated forces against the last remaining Imperial holdouts.
Incoming.
Yeah, like with the mods, it's just stuff gets done when it gets done.
Choose your reinforcements.
No one's making money off of or paying for them, so I don't feel particularly pressed to get.
Heavy victory standing by.
Like, oh, we need to finish this by then.
Of course, Your Highness.
That doesn't end up bothering me very much.
Ready to face the enemy, my liege. Missile destroyer reporting in. Initiating combat protocols.
Okay, Harsk,
Captain on deck.
Stay in formation.
you're done.
We've lost the missile launcher. The torpedo launcher has been destroyed.
Having nightmares about XO? I don't think XTO was that bad. Like, I think it was like it's gross, but it's okay. That's a regular wound.
Targeting enemy.
Like, this is a thing that I can understand how that happened to a human. Don't want to look at it, but it's just like a bloody part of a foot. Whereas Charlie's toe, that's like, okay, a lot has had to go wrong to get to this point.
Loose missile.
Targeting at maximum firepower.
Like, that's a part of a horror story.
We read you.
En route.
Yes, Commander.
Because I think I saw some people in X2 saying, like, Charlie's toe isn't that bad, X is disgusting. I was like, no. Charlie's toe is the result of years of neglect growing a new species. I guess part of it is like, yeah, you can see Charlie's toe and it's like, oh, ew, that's weird. And then with X, it's like, oh, that could happen to me. Maybe that's part of it. But what am I talking about? So X2, a channel I work with Eckhart's Ladder and Charlie, both of them have hurt their toes in kind of disgusting ways. Where like Eck dropped, I think it was a patio stone on his toe, and he showed us, and like it cracked the toenail in half, and then he kind of fell on it again a couple days ago, and that kind of ruined some of the healing. So it's just a bloody toe. Whereas Charlie, I don't know if it was like an ingrown toenail. I forget how the origin story of it, but it's this messed up toe he's had for like 10 years. It's like green. The toenail's dead. He needs to pull off the toenail because it's like there's the dead toenail, a fucking colony of moss, then a growing toenail under it. And like he needs to pull out that top toenail and then get it like disinfected. But he's not doing it. So it's disgusting. It's gross. Any ideas on upcoming government mechanics for the Warlord faction besides legitimacy? Not in particular. There's some stuff we're going to be doing with the eras in the future, and we'll probably have like a release off of focusing on the warlords for that kind of stuff, because we're going to have the other factions to worry about. There's some things kind of percolating, but I don't think percolating that close to talking about Charlie's toe. But yeah, it'll be every other faction. All the factions will get something else, and like Zinj already kind of has it with the way the pirates work, but
Constructing unit. Construction complete.
we haven't planned super far ahead there.
In production.
A lot of that stuff, it generally works better. Like we'll have some rough ideas, but until it's actually time to work on it, we'll stay more vague or broad. It's ground units. Refresh our timers. Get into this last section. Okay, you have ion cannon, a lot more heavy vehicles, tax agency, and tax agency shield, and tax agency shield. Nope, these are vehicle production, a company. So Fondor is going to be definitely the hardest ground and space. Or maybe, yeah, maybe Brigado Ray. Yeah, this will probably be the hardest one on ground. The map we have on this one. Okay, that one.
I'll be there.
Like, I don't medically take the best care of myself. Like, I don't go to the doctor for things that I probably should. But, on the other hand, on the other foot, none of my body parts are green. And, like, I'm not trying to offend Yoda or anything. None of me is supposed to be green. Yoda is, like, nothing against green. That's what he's supposed to look like. But it just seems like there's a certain point where I'd like to think even I would
Roger.
get over my squeamishness or fear of
Moving to
doctors to go, because he's gone and had other stuff looked at in the same time. It's like it's not even like he needs to get something diagnosed. It's just clear what the path forward there is. It's just take that toenail off,
Yes, Commander.
but it's there.
Warm up. This way. Heading out.
But what do I know?
Construction complete.
Had independent forces attack one of my planets in space battle, but never invaded the planet. Attack? I need to know more context, because the actual independent can't move on the galactic level.
Yes, sir. Moving to position.
So unless they got like auto-resolved and some of them somehow managed to escape, they shouldn't be able to retreat like that. Maybe, but I don't know.
Yes, Commander.
Thank you, Shadow, for the $5 donation.
Copy. Acknowledged.
Standing by.
Ready. Let's roll.
Missile armed. Yes, General.
Brigade.
Okay, so
standby.
I will say for the record, it's not actually moss.
Come across enemy.
There's not actually moss there, but it's green. So maybe it is. I'm not in the mood to be particularly charitable in my interpretation.
Destination set.
Oh yeah, the Duskin League. That would look like independent forces attacking. So if you're in Era 5 or Era 7, the Duskin League do unlock, and then there's a roving fleet from them. They only attack in space. They can really mess shit up.
Highway, sir. Walker moving out.
Order acknowledged.
Affirmative. Heading out.
Like, I'm pretty sure just talking about this is hurting the stream audience, both mentally, emotionally, and in terms of like the number of people who actually make up the stream audience.
Target.
But I just that's how little I understand what's going on with it.
New coordinates. Fallout.
I'm gonna stop now. We're not talking about it anymore.
Ready to roll.
Affirmative, sir.
Orders, sir.
Report.
Base is under
Okay, let's deploy you. Move up a little bit. Put that AT-AT or ATST, please.
available.
Ready. Initiate.
Yes, Commander. Fire at will.
Keep going.
Can you move back? May as well get that landing zone and that one.
Ready. Target. As you wish, General. Right away.
Awaiting orders.
AT-AT ready.
Try to keep a certain level of decorum here.
Secure the landing zone.
Which warlord was the smartest besides the obvious? Like, I mean, I guess Kane was the most successful at like not immediately getting killed. He did screw over the Empire. Like, Kane's short-term success came at the expense of pretty much the entire Outer Rim and kind of set up the New Republic to win, because he pulled back so many Outer Rim forces from over Sector Outer.
Let's go.
I'll break them.
Tactical battle imminent.
We're moving in. So there is actually going to be a bit of a change to the stream schedule and how it works. We should just rename X2 to Xto.
We'll be there.
But yeah, so the way we've been doing it for the last little while is Mondays are the recording days, and I put up a poll at the start of the week, I think, asking how people felt about that, like how if people prefer the Monday recording streams or if they'd prefer having them be Friday. I think that'd be a bit more convenient for some people, and as like kind of the main stream, we might be able to it might be a bit better for overall viewership to do it that way, especially because I am trying to get to the partner this year at some point.
What are your orders?
So I'm slightly more concerned about that kind of thing than I normally would be. But so what we're gonna do next week is Monday and Friday. We're gonna be doing 2 different recording streams next week for the Ariado playthrough. We'll do 2 episodes on Monday, 2 episodes on Friday, and then going forward, the Friday afternoon stream, so this stream slot basically, will be recording Empire at War stuff, except for when we have like a single stream Galactic Conquest to do, so maybe not next week. But
Carrot Commander here.
from then on, Monday and Friday will be... Oh, crap. Thought it crashed. Monday and Friday will be some kind of Empire at War thing, but the recording streams will be Friday. How do I feel about the protest in Ottawa? Not a fan.
Gun crews make ready.
Ties reporting in.
I neither agree with what they're doing or how they're doing it.
Coming around.
Ottawa is the capital of Canada. That's where I live.
Getting a lock. At your command. Ready for orders. Setting up my run, sir. Intercepting. Target locked. Eliminating target.
There have been a lot of houses that have, like, houses and businesses that have, like, pride flags up, where rocks have been thrown at them by the protesters, so a lot of friends or friends of friends who are gay or trans are afraid to leave their houses right now.
Increase power to weapons.
Ready for battle. Navigating to coordinates.
Excellent shot.
And there was, like, a camp set up very close to where I live, where they were, like,
Command.
who was deputizing a bunch of the protesters as, like, officers of the peace or some shit,
On stand.
which they can't do. It's not a thing they can do. So there's this whole crowd repeating this oath, thinking it means that they can arrest police officers.
Tactical battle imminent.
Enemy forces ahead.
Reporting.
Choose
Like,
your
it's all
reinforcements.
fucking ridiculous.
Moving out. Heading out. All out. Coming around. Heading to destination. We're moving out.
A pirate's life suits me.
Our launch
I
bay
take what I
underway.
want.
Destroyed.
Okay.
Reinforcements
We
canceled.
should be able to get through... Honestly, most of these planets pretty fast, except for Fondor in space, because Fondor has
Heading out.
the Dread shipyard. Everything else is just the defensive structures.
Destroyer here.
Ready to receive orders.
What do you want?
Cruiser ready.
Target at maximum
Leonia
firepower.
Tavira.
Squadron standing by. Comlink active.
Copy.
Skip ray reporting.
There's the
Well, of course you
Golan.
want to speak to me.
Lock weapons and fire.
Roger that.
A pirate's life suits me.
Go after the stragglers.
I copy. Reporting. We're moving out. Star
And
Destroyer
shipyard.
standing by.
Another attack.
Stations on stand.
I've got him.
Broadside cruiser
The broadsides aren't even
targeting.
helping. They're just sitting back there.
Ready for battle.
What do you want?
Reporting in. Attacking target. Star Destroyer reporting in.
Form up. Open fire.
Cruiser ready.
A lot of people have also been physically assaulted
What do you
for
want?
wearing masks
Tear them
if they go
apart.
downtown.
Awaiting orders.
Yes, Commander. Attacking.
All right.
Ready for duty. Cruiser reporting.
Stations on stand.
Why are there no green lines for pathfinding? Ships more reliably go where you tell them to now in a pretty much straight line, so
Gun crew.
the slight performance hit just isn't worth it.
Increase power to weapons. Lock weapons.
Awaiting your command. Firing on their lasers.
If people want to re-enable them, then they can. It's like a one-line change, but we've decided that for
I'm on them. Stay in
for
formation.
default build, they're unnecessary. Shit. I think we'll just auto-resolve that. It's what, 2 crashes for this campaign? Going so well. Alright, we will load back in. There are a few things that, like, someday I'd love to have just a configurator view tool that we can let people set certain options in that goes in and edits the files appropriately. Obviously, then people would need to like go and click back to default when they want to do multiplayer or whatever. Oh well. I think Remake has like very vertically spaced stuff. We tend to keep things a bit tighter for it. Like, you get a bit more of a cinematic quality out of having things like massively spaced vertically, but because of the way ranges work in Empire War, because you can't tell stuff to like go down a level. Like, if you have something that has a 500 range, it's going to be this close, but then if they're up here, it has to be this close. So there's definitely a trade-off there.
Moving to coordinates.
I take what I want. What could be better?
Order confirmed.
Tactical battle imminent.
We have enough units that I don't think we're losing out on anything here.
Tactical battle imminent. Tactical battle imminent.
We are going to go in on...
I'll be there.
Omork next. Paradox Fleet is going to go on Omork, then Fondor.
Acknowledged.
We need to replace any of those? Probably not.
Invasion commencing. Planetary control achieved.
Okay, now everyone go to the opposite side of the galaxy.
Destination set.
Should probably just save on that. Yeah, the Peltis, Aggressors, those kind of ships definitely benefited a lot from the stuff not just randomly flipping around. Normal TIE with a big cockpit. Yeah, I think that's the TIE GT you're thinking of. Got like the thing sticking out the back. Stop killing my stuff, you cowards. Actually, in our ground forces. A lot. We don't have any mats, though. So, let's get a bunch of them. And not as many infantry in this. Let's do stormtroopers.
Use your reinforcements.
Acknowledged.
Quite a large map, so we will try to get some speedier stuff. Or the AT-AT as well.
Reinforcements en route.
Moving out. Juggernaut ready. Acknowledged.
See if we can get up there.
Reporting. Acknowledged. Yes, Commander. Destination
Ready. Destination set. Ready. Proceeding. On my way. Moving out.
Okay. The IDT... no, that's not going to be able to hit there.
Ready. Right
It's going to be a
away.
very cramped choke point up here.
ready.
Hopefully with the AT-AT we can get through there, but I don't know. It should tell you in the story guide
Reporting in.
how to get
What are
the
your orders?
phalanx.
At your command. Target acquired. Awaiting orders.
The guide's on the left side of the screen.
All right, men. Take cover. Copy that.
It was originally Era 4, but the eras got changed, so I think it's Era 5.
Heading out. Going.
Yes, sir.
That being steep, this is going to be a mess to get through.
Awaiting orders.
There's not really a good way to attack because it's all very narrow and very long.
Copy. I copy.
AT-AT ready.
Repair station constructing.
Roger. Armored transport ready. Reporting in.
He plans to restructure how the Emperor the Hand works in the mod. Strange to have them so active early, especially renewal. Okay, at least. Like when they're on the map, the idea is they should be factoring in, even if like in universe they didn't do much. Like the player, if you don't border them, then they're not especially active. Like they're isolationist, which only changes later on. But we don't want to just have them be a completely safe wall for the player if you border them.
Ready. Let's go.
So making them be even more isolationist or changing the isolationist to never attack anyone, the isolationist AI to never attack anyone,
Ready.
doesn't really
Armed and ready.
work out that well for gameplay. Like it's sacrificing a fair amount of what you'd want for gameplay just for the lower point of keeping them separate.
Armed and ready.
In the progressives, the point is that the whole galaxy is kind of able to fight each other, so
Reinforcement point.
because like if you really just don't want to fight the Empire of the Hand, there are known galaxy maps for that to keep it isolated, but on the maps that are kind of designed to have the unknown regions there, they may as well contribute to the game. Be close.
At your command.
Copy. As you wish, General.
There will be other stuff in the unknown regions
Right away.
in the future, so they'll have more to deal with out there on their own, but
Copy.
okay, can we kill that? Well, keep going out there, and then Juggernauts go into the artillery.
Reporting.
Yes.
Crap.
take what
They
I
can
want.
combine.
What could be better?
Let's get over to Thomor. And we'll. Oop.
Battle imminent.
I was hoping to invade before that got there.
We've located the enemy.
Choose your reinforcements.
Coming around.
We're on the move.
Navigating to coordinate.
Star Destroyer standing by.
Understood.
Location confirmed. Location confirmed. Advancing. Confirmed. Navigating.
Star Destroyer reporting in.
Cruiser reporting. Holding fire.
All right,
for-
it's a pretty decent PDF fleet for them.
Your orders.
Gunship reporting. Cruiser here.
Intercepting.
Attacking. Batteries on.
Not more decenter than our fleet. I actually need to move this window. There we go.
Awaiting
Attack
orders.
formation.
Our target priority is the laser
Weapons
cannon.
ready. Yes,
Go
sir.
after the stragglers.
Awaiting your orders.
Regroup
Our
our
launch
summer
bay has
attack.
been destroyed.
Setting Closing on
At your
target.
command.
Awaiting your command.
He won't be around much longer. Target locked. Pursuing enemy forces. Target critical. More enemy craft.
Current commander here.
Your command.
Broadside cruiser reporting. Attacking.
Actually, a lot of gunships there. So
Reporting in.
we get you to deal with the gunships, while everyone else shoots the
Back around for another.
Launching
the
attack.
regular ships. What does PDF mean? Planetary Defense Force.
Cruiser online.
It's also a document type.
Target fire near the laser cannons.
I got one.
Roger that. The lasers are our
TIE
target.
squadron here.
It's kind of just like a catch-all term for like local forces.
Directing all fire on the engines.
Form up. We've got them on scopes.
I've got
Ooh, this is a dreadnought shipyard as well.
Destroyer
Do
here.
you have any strike cruisers? We do have some strike cruisers.
I'm on
We want the strike cruisers.
be destroyed.
Moving to sector.
Sir, I've got it.
He's headed your direction.
Getting a lock.
It's not going to be as effective as
Location confirmed.
against some
Understood.
regular fighters, but have some anti-fightering with the gunships.
Let's finish him.
Awaiting your command.
And
Where'd he go?
I copy.
Nowhere to run.
Cruiser ready.
yeah, the PDF dreadnoughts are basically like the
Draw their fire. Yes,
Attack formation.
laser-heavy variant of the dreadnought,
Reporting.
Under control. Attacks.
like an older setup.
Lasers. Reporting in.
Go after them.
What are your orders?
TIEs reporting in.
Just a naming convention way to separate
Destroyer standing by.
some of the older and newer stuff.
Target confirmed. Destroying lasers.
You integrate an Empire in Era 3 and get Niles Ferry out of it. Would that mean any warlord could get boarding that way?
Taking fire.
Yeah,
Losing power.
technically.
Locking on.
Current commander here.
Star Destroyer
They're
reporting
hitting
in.
us. For the Empire.
You Shadow.
I'm losing.
Yes, Commander.
Weapons armed. Firing on their lasers.
The Doc X dreadnoughts? No. There was a war earlier on
Cruise make ready.
Bombers at the
for a planet called Format,
bombs away.
and the PDF forces on Format were able to beat the Doc X.
Station.
Nowhere to run.
Systems online.
I'm on
Cruiser
them.
ready.
Target
It's in some of the older like RPG source books.
Fire for maximum
Lock
effect.
weapons.
TIE squadron.
Awaiting orders.
Form up.
Stay in formation.
And like you'd think the Republic would have intervened when that was going on, but they were having a lot of like internal political struggles because like Format was a member world of the Republic, but at the time there was a succession crisis for the Supreme Chancellor. There was no one that could really tell them what to do.
Gun crews make ready.
Because the people on Format that were basically just getting killed by the other side, they tried to petition for some Republic help, but they only got through to the receptionist and like, sorry, we just got an open office here.
Crews are ready.
You play RPG tabletop games? Yeah, sometimes. We've got Edge of Despair. We sometimes do on the channel here. That's all tabletop.
Open fire.
Command. Increase power to weapons.
I do love tabletop RPGs. I don't get as many chances to play them as I'd like. I think Shaq is streaming some tabletop setup right now.
Open.
Maybe someday I'll be able to play with Jack and Waste them again. I don't think Eck and Charlie are likely to play much anymore.
Lock weapon.
I think for them that was like a one and done campaign situation.
Gun crews make ready.
It's a lot easier to improv when you're not trying to play the game. Too much hemming and hawing and umming and ahhing.
Copy. Pressing the attack.
Crews are ready.
I copy.
It's difficult. Like, people make fun of how streamers play games a lot when they're not like the kind of streamer who got popular off of just being really good at the game in the first place. And
Destroying lasers.
you gotta be doing like 2 or 3 things at once the whole time. Trying to read chat, trying to respond to chat when there's something to respond to. You're trying to play the game and talk about the game, but also talk about some weird made-up bullshit that you're trying to come up with on the spot. While talking the entire time.
Star
Like,
Destroyer standing by.
I don't know about any of you, but I normally don't have 3 hours worth of things to say. If I'm sitting in a room with someone in person and I'm not streaming, I'm just silent. I don't say anything.
Will. Awaiting orders.
Reporting. Direct fire at their laser cannons.
Talking is for nerds.
Move to attack. Awaiting orders. Firing on their lasers.
But as a streamer, I am obligated, both legally, morally, and financially, to provide background noise for people to fall asleep to. Which is why I also never shout. I at most raise my voice a little bit. But unless I'm arguing with Charlie on the podcast or X, and like that's X too, so like people are there for a very different thing than here. Here it's all about the background.
Lock weapons. Fire. Gun crews make ready.
Thank you all.
Power to weapons.
Yes, Commander. Target sighted.
Get behind them.
Awaiting your command. The lasers are on ready. Cruiser reporting.
Regroup for another attack.
What are your orders?
Got our nice little line of little ships.
Gunship reporting.
I have them
Your
now.
Commander.
Command. Lock weapons.
More enemy craft.
This is background noise for the Mandator 3 export, so you're clear. Oh, I know my role. I know my place.
Make ready. Increase power to weapons.
Batteries online.
Look, I've watched YouTubers before.
Attack.
I fall asleep to like they were background noise for me to fall asleep to.
I've got them in my sights.
Open fire. Attack that target.
Eliminating target.
Orders, sir.
The enemy has been defeated.
Reporting in.
There's no way I'd be able to like go back and watch one of my streams from when I started. I'm pretty sure I'd just like implode, cringe. So like the quality of the background noise I think has steadily gotten better over the years, but I still know what I'm used to. It's called an SME, Second Monitor Experience. For you. New one? Yes.
Invasion commencing.
I think like Let's Play videos end up being more active
Choose your reinforcements.
watching streams or background stuff for a lot of
Setting
people.
course. On my way, sir.
Video energy is definitely very different when I'm recording them offline versus trying to do it for a stream. In a stream, you end up being, I think, a bit more okay with lulls.
Heading out.
And for the lulls.
I copy.
Battalion standing by.
Reporting.
Moving ahead.
Order ready.
Roll out.
Transport ready. This way.
I guess one of you should go with them. One of you should go with them.
Gargantuan ready. Adjusting course. We'll clear
Are we
the
going to
way.
be able to go straight up there? You know if anyone does head-to-head GC and TR?
Ready.
We don't support it, so
Here.
maybe there's a sub-mod that has a version of it, but like 90% of the mod's mechanics wouldn't be able to work in multiplayer, which is why we don't support it. We basically need to have something that's reasonably decent. We would need to basically rebuild it.
Armed and ready.
Do a whole different set of everything that's specifically meant for that. Oh crap, that's a lot of stuff.
Reporting in.
Time order.
Our
What are
base
your
is under
orders?
attack.
Ready. Cannon charge. Attack.
Reporting in. At your command. Proceeding.
AT-AT ready. Deploying storm.
Let's get anti-infantry, some artillery,
Proceeding.
and juggernauts. It's a big map, so being able to respond a bit faster would be nice. Like this AT-AT is not going to be able to just kill them all.
Copy. Receiving your transmission.
Get over here so you can deploy if you need to. But that's back then. We don't care about that.
Roger that. Attack that target.
I'm at your disposal. Weapons armed. Reporting. This thing is tough. Yes, indestructible. On my way.
Alright. Well, we at least got that. We can head into the base now. Oh!
As you wish.
Attacking target. Fire at will.
Okay, juggernauts
Juggernaut ready.
out that way.
Ready.
These guys are still going to be able to take the structures or take the base.
Moving. Standing by.
Boy. Well, maybe we'll be able to kill that with the units. Maybe the bombing run is going to make it in. Here, kill that AA turret that we at least know is there.
Weapons armed. Moving to attack.
And will we be able to? Oh, we can actually make it. We can make it.
Let's go.
One planet 1v1 would be interesting. Do you mean like a one planet start galactic conquest 1v1? Like the problem with that would be that all the battles that aren't directly PvP get auto-resolved in Empire at War. So the first few hours of that would just be building up fleets to auto-resolve against the independent forces, which would not be particularly interesting, so you may as well just like set up the Galactic Conquest with roughly equal forces like a standard one, so that they're at least playing something.
Awaiting orders. Copy. Right
It's
away.
like part of the problem, part of the reason we don't bother
Copy that.
working on it and trying to figure something else out to do with it, aside from like time constraint, is that it's very unstable. Like Empire at War multiplayer is very unstable and prone to desyncs. the saves for multiplayer Galactic Conquest are not reliable either.
Laying suppressive fire.
So it ends up being a thing that, like, people, even if you can set up the gameplay, the ability for people to actually get through much of a campaign is not great. Like, I'd love to be able to do a multiplayer Galactic Conquest series with, like, Heck or Shaq or Charlie or something. It just, it's a lot of work for something that we wouldn't necessarily be able to get the best outcomes for. It isn't to say we won't try something with it eventually, but that's kind of just why it isn't there yet and why it's tricky. We get the Scorpionic in Fall of the Republic. Eventually, maybe. Depends if or when one of us makes it, but it's not really something that's, like, super high priority for us to make. A lot of the Fall of the Republic assets for the Republic and CIS are kind of, the main stuff is done, and anything else is just kind of fleshing out extras, optional things. Paradox fleet is primary one. Okay, we gotta kill the van in space, the space van.
Tactical battle imminent.
So for, like, the next little while, especially, our focus with assets, there'll always be a focus on Mon Calamari ships,
Enemy is approaching.
because Oz likes making Mon Calamari stuff. So
Choose your reinforcements.
that means there's always going to be more Mon Cals to the texture.
Maneuvering.
But aside from that, like, I want to really get
Moving out.
moving with Revan's Revenge in the next release cycle. Raptor has done a ton of asset work there, really getting us moving on the ground side. We're done the initial roster for the Republic. We're very close to being done the initial rosters for the Mandalorians and Empire, or Sith. As Oz did a bunch of the Sith space units, so like the Centurion, the Interdictor, the Darafin, and the Supremacy are 4 of their 5 initial ones. So that's going to be a pretty big focus of art assets in the next release cycle.
Getting a lock.
Roll with the Scorpion Cap. It'd be anti-heavy vehicle.
Intercepting.
Weapons.
Probably with some sort of AoE for infantry, but... What's the next Joint Command? Whose turn is next? So we're actually going to be restarting Joint Command in Fall of the Republic with the beta. So it'll probably be starting with Ek again, and hopefully we'll do Joint Command Lounge. The square ship I didn't bring in. The Galleon or the Pursuit? Pursuit's one of the kind of like medium range heavy weapon ships. Anti-larges. But would have been decent against these structures.
Sir, I've got him. Attack.
Star Destroyer standing by.
Your orders, sir. Awaiting.
Much to Nemesis's disappointment, it won't probably be a very Imperial Reign focused release cycle. It'll probably still be a while before that's in a position where I hand it off to the team or anyone else.
Commander, they're hitting us.
Carrot Commander here.
Yes, yes.
Reporting.
I'm gonna have to go back and take a look at that the battle where it crashed.
Fire at will.
Was it a raid fleet prompt that was there? I don't think so. Let's check.
Order
I'm
confirmed.
on them. Ready.
Ready for battle.
Stay in formation. Get behind them. I copy.
Standing by. Enemy forces sighted. Awaiting your reporting in. Your command.
Protector.
Ready for duty. Our lasers are destroyed.
Orders, sir. Commencing attack run. Reporting. Fire.
Why don't I use Hunt? I generally prefer to send them to the area I want them in, and then they can just kill whatever comes in there. rather than have them just randomly go around the battle.
I'm on them.
Commander. Form up.
Command. Increase power to weapons.
Coming around.
Station.
Target at maximum firepower.
I've got them in my sights.
Lock weapons.
Enemies in range.
Gun crews make ready.
Hey.
Ready, sir.
I didn't use power to weapons on the one that was getting attacked because I was kind of hoping that would be enough to save it. But other stuff managed to get in there.
Returning to your
Move
position.
to attack.
Reporting in. Targeting.
I'll take care of this.
Bomber targeting.
Command. Lock weapons and fire. Gun crews make ready.
It's about to be destroyed.
Form up.
Target locked.
We're in position.
Yes, Commander.
Coming back around.
Waiting orders. Navigating. Target sighted.
Form up.
Eliminating target. Getting along.
Here's the Empress. Oh shit, they had an MC-80B in here the whole time.
Excellent shot.
Awaiting orders.
Locking on.
That's a trap.
He's headed this direction.
That's a
Direct fire at their laser cannon. Ready.
On the one hand, I'm excited that Futurama is coming back. On the other, if they don't end up actually getting John DiMaggio back, I'm gonna be very sad.
Excellent shot. Pursuing enemy forces.
Awaiting your command. Ready.
Like I'm assuming they'll come to some kind of agreement. Like I don't see how they could
I copy. Firing.
Locking on. Get behind them. Enemies
come in without him.
on enemy.
I was kind of wondering where the rest of the garrisons were.
Command.
I have them now.
Gun crews make ready.
Copy.
Reporting.
Understood. Eliminating target.
Moving to sector.
Target locked.
Heading out. What are your orders? I copy. Reporting.
Station.
Yeah, like I don't see. I just don't see how they'd be able to go forward without coming to some sort
My
of.
scopes are jammed.
Crews make ready.
Stardust.
Like, yeah, they're doing the auditions for recasting the role before table reads, but before they actually do the show, that could still change. And
It's almost gone.
like most of the bigger name voice actors would generally be like, okay, I'm not going to take that job because that's John's job. He's in negotiations because
Gun them down.
kind of like being a scab.
Directing weapons at their rating.
Like Maurice LaMarche said basically that on Twitter.
Star Destroyer reporting in.
Theoretically unrelated to the current situation, but
Coming about. Ready.
I'm hit. Taking fire.
Cruiser reporting.
we'll see.
Attack position.
Like, if Netflix can pay him for Disenchantment, then
Gunship reporting. Pressing the attack.
you'd have to think Hulu will for Futurama.
Target those lasers. Reporting. The lasers are our target. Target at maximum firepower. Our target priority is the laser
What am I
cannon.
hearing? Sorry. I'm gonna take my headphones off for a second because I think I'm hearing something either in the wall over there.
Cruiser here. What are your orders?
So I can only hear loud clicking
Their
now.
laser cannon.
Command.
God, my mouse is loud.
Increase power to weapons.
Reporting in. I copy.
I got one. Yes.
No music, no game. This is
We
Oh,
are
my head.
victorious.
because Dana's not it. Not it. So that leaves us with 1 space battle, 3 ground battles. No, it's definitely not something in the headphones. It's something in the house. We've had some critters living in the walls, so I was trying to hear if it was primarily.
Construction complete.
Moving out.
Move out. Receiving orders.
He killed Drayson.
Brigade standing by.
As you wish.
Construction complete.
Got enough food and parts for this. Yeah, that one's gonna give us stuff.
Invasion commencing.
Bondor. Then Thomork. Then we go to Abrigado. Is like in the suggested videos? Oh crap, I dropped my toy.
Constructing.
Moving out. As you wish.
Heading out.
For a while, that was my favorites. That was my favorite playthrough that I'd done. The Maldrood one. That one was like the first one I did. Well, actually, that was only the second one I did, I think.
Keep going.
It was one of the first times I played the mod and really struggled to progress. Like I had a really back and forth campaign.
T2B over.
Why didn't the CIS use HK droids? They were thousands of years old, designed by them.
Engines activated.
Warm up. This way.
They had a variety of droids that could do similar things, but having that particular design wouldn't necessarily gotten very far.
At your command.
Awaiting enemy.
They make nice, fun, pithy comments, but I don't know about needing them to replace the rest of everything.
Ready for orders. Receiving orders.
I copy.
I copy.
Okay, artillery,
Reinforcements.
it's a thing we definitely want here.
Enemy vehicle factory destroyed.
At the ready.
Yeah, let's go through there. We may as well focus most of our stuff on the main area. Oh crap.
Ready to receive orders.
Unit destroyed.
Yes, sir.
I copy. Beginning short range fire.
Destroyed.
Okay, back off.
We'll cover you.
Transport here.
Turbo laser AT-AT and HRVs maybe?
Reinforcements cancelled.
With the artillery, like I think we need the HRVs. Did they kill
Waiting your orders.
that? Oh, the AA turret there.
I've got him in my sight. Heading out.
Unit
Reporting.
destroyed.
Squad, advance.
Transport ready. Commencing attack.
For a robust research system in the air system. Define robust, because like the New Republic can already research stuff, the Empire can research stuff, or the Empire can't, but I guess. Like it's already research in the mod. It's not just the air system. Just there's multiple ways that certain things become available. Like Father Republic and has stuff for the CIS and Republic. Just we don't have tiered tech research. I generally don't like that as much,
As you wish.
but there's still a lot of research you can.
Order acknowledged.
Doing per unit research is very laggy in Empire at War as well, so you kind of either have to do certain things get researched, which we do in TR and FOTR. Research it as tech level, just like base game or AOTR, or Phoenix Rising style, which is
Initiate attack.
each thing gets researched, but then you are doing a lot of trade-offs for performance with that. Crap! Why'd you go in there?
Reporting in.
If you have a lot of objects the AI can build,
Destination.
then that's a big source of lag.
Lancet proceeding.
Choose an era to play in, but have research units to progression tech level or something like that. I mean, that's the thing, though. Eras and tech level aren't the same thing. Like, tech is independent of era. It's just era is a story container, tech level would be something else. And there aren't tech levels traditionally. It's just what things you can or can't research at a different time. So making the era advanced by doing tech research doesn't make much sense. Because it's about, like, a time passage or an event thing. But, like, the New Republic has the new class research, they have the Viscount research, the Republic has, like, the Vendors and stuff. And while era may influence what you can research at a given point, it's not like researching more things is what turns the era.
What are your orders? At your command. Awaiting orders.
You really need to be able to kill that stuff.
Moving out. Heading out.
Fly back.
Yes, Commander.
Yes, sir.
Unit destroyed.
Yes, Commander. Mission ahead.
So, like, there's definitely going to be a lot more research stuff in the mods as we go. It's difficult to do everything at once.
Ready.
But we don't intend to drop the era stuff for that.
This way.
Copy.
Order acknowledged.
More artillery. That we need to go kill. Nice easy target.
Roger that.
Proceeding.
Aerial artillery reporting.
Standing by. Rolling out. Copy.
We might be able to make a push for the victory point soon. Gave up a lot of our good vehicles though. Those NPTLs really got us. Maybe you don't want to go in there?
On my way.
Alright, that's dead. We can start moving our other tanks up now. Got a bunch of those.
Transport ready. Moving out.
Roger that. On my way. Scanning target.
One of the other things with research is that, for one thing, until recently, you could only have any kind of research on 3 factions. The rest just literally could not. The game engine didn't support doing any of the stuff that you need to, other than just like straight up tech levels. But that can change now. But another thing with it is we have a lot of factions, and we want to make sure that they all have unique playstyles. So we also, because we don't want to do like, oh, this is tech level 1, you only have your corvettes and your fighters, and this is tech level 2, so you only have corvettes, fighters, frigates, etc., like the base game. Like we want to make sure every faction has a full viable roster throughout the game. So that means if we aren't going to be making like essentially the equivalent of 3 or 4 full rosters for any given faction, then we're a bit more limited on what we can have come through research. So for progression on the galactic level, we tend to go more in the direction of like the government mechanics and progression that way. So you can still keep some sense of progression without it necessarily being such a big resource drain by focusing on just doing research. resource drain, like as far as us actually being able to make assets.
Yes, sir.
Can we nuke something?
Bomber
Nuke you?
reporting. Ready. Initiate bombing run.
Fire at will.
Got a nice little field base up there. You can all go. Like you don't need to cluster in here and park and all that.
Yes, sir.
Like yeah, with the patch from last year and the fact that we can now do proper story scripting for every faction, that opened up a lot of doors that we've taken advantage of in some ways, but still some ways that we haven't gotten around to yet. And especially as we get into some of the Vong War stuff and that kind of later era stuff, there will be more we can do in some of those directions as well.
Destination set.
May as well kill the thing that's actually killing you first. Get that turret out of there. And it looks like there's something on this side.
Form up.
We'll need to...
Roger.
There we go.
Target
Am I... Oh, never mind. Dead. Will we kill this faster than we get the victory point? Oh yeah, for sure. It's still Republic influenced.
Awaiting orders.
Lumaya, I need to go out there.
Reporting in.
Here we go. I think this is from right after Porto finished the saber tanks, so there's still some scaling to finish off with them, or that hadn't been done with them, which has been done since. All right, the command staff is there. We're about to kill 3 more admirals. Grand admirables.
Brigade standing by. We shall be there shortly.
Tactical battle imminent.
Got Sheldora, we got Ciansov, and we got Hiram Drayson. Hiram? I think it's Hiram.
Enemy
Real name.
unit
I
sighted.
know how to pronounce it better than I do. Oh wait, that's not Sov. That's Snoop. Poor little
Choose your
Celestial.
reinforcements.
Right away. Moving out.
What was that? Oh yeah, I
Heading out.
never apologize.
Fall out.
Carrack en route.
Helm ahead full.
I don't think I've heard that line.
Increase the flank. Ahead full. Helm ahead full. Increase the flank. Ahead full.
What do
Okay,
you
time for all the
want?
hero deaths.
I'll break them.
Whether ours or theirs. Or ours and theirs.
Let's move out.
We do it that way.
Heading out.
Ready for orders.
Awaiting orders. Fire.
Well, of course you want to speak to me.
Ready for command,
Awaiting
sir.
your orders. The lasers are our target.
Cruiser ready.
Alright, strike cruisers. Go for Drayson.
Fire for maximum effect.
Gun crews make ready.
Snunb is dead.
Awaiting your command.
First one down.
Broadside cruiser reporting.
And broadside on the Golan, maybe?
Your command, sir. Engaging the enemy.
Cruiser ready.
Pterodoc brothers, you got Thorat. This Tector can go for the Golan. I would like the broadside to hit the Golan, because I don't think the strike cruisers need that much help on Drayson. Are bulwarks considered an SSD? No, they're considered a battle cruiser, which is kind of the step between SSDs and capital ships. Hope your campaign is going well too, Vlad.
Bombers at the ready. Roger that. Skipper reporting. Coming around.
Stations on standby.
Getting a lock.
Awaiting your command. Firing on their lasers.
What do you want?
Is there a sub-mod that lets you have unlimited units? If not, could there be one?
Intercepting.
I mean, we have instant action for like individual battles of that, but then there's like the 1 credit 1 second mods that people make that are kind of that.
Invidious is mine to command.
I don't know if any of them do pop cap as well in it, but
Leonia Tavira.
there's also infinite pop cap mods, so
Cruiser ready.
it's not really a thing that we tend to do. Like, it's a sub-mod variety that's pretty much basically guaranteed to come up at some point from other people. I don't think it's something that anyone on the team is particularly interested in making.
Well, of
So
course
it's out
you
there.
want to speak to me.
Not too difficult to make,
Who doesn't?
but it's not something that we involve ourselves with.
Yes,
Stay in formation.
our target priority is the laser cannons. Await
Retreating.
Touching them.
You got anywhere to retreat to, you fools.
Get behind them. I got one. Engaging the enemy. Locking on this one.
Increase power to weapons.
I mean, yeah, when you drop the ship prices and increase the pop cap, the AI is going to be able to use it as well. Is it possible to win the Dark Empire invasion over Coruscant? It is. It's not like intended to, but like the intended outcome there is the Empire winning. You can do it.
Shuttle en route.
Let's move out. Squadron moving out.
What are you? Right, you check this. This we knew already. Let's do Stormies? Stormy boys? I did tell Dana that this was going to be like a 4-hour stream maximum. But I do want to put a poll up here. For all of you here today, maybe I'll do a supplementary poll. But if we do a Fall of the Republic campaign after Ariadu, which FOTR faction should we play? Should we play yes, also known as the CIS, or no, also known as the Republic? That wasn't supposed to bias anyone. That was just me replacing the default options. And I reserve the right to ignore the results or to post other polls in other places to add to these results. We got the Hapens replacing this campaign. We got the CIS or Republic replacing Ariada. I think that's what's going to happen.
Choose your
I don't know for sure.
Heading out.
Advancing. Copy. Right away. I copy.
Yeah, we did just do ODL as the CIS, but that was a relatively quick one. We haven't done a progressive for a while. We have done progressives in Fall of the Republic. They've generally been the Republic recently. So, like the other options in TR and well, in EAWX mods, there's like the New Republic, which we're doing a single stream as, and I want to wait until we've done some of the 0.3 stuff, because we're definitely going to have a 0.3 Empire and New Republic campaigns. So they're kind of out. We just did Maldrood. We just did PA. I want to wait on Empire of the Hand until we've got some of the other stuff finished there. So it's...
Awaiting destination. Comlink active. Over there.
Look, sir, it's them. Scout trooper active. Armor ready.
It's gonna be
Fallout
one that's a semi-recent repeat, regardless. SRR, as we call them in the
Yes,
business.
order acknowledged.
Reinforcements.
I'm not sure what business. Who we is.
Heading out.
Roger that.
Scout trooper reporting.
Okay, do we have... We have that artillery.
Capacity.
Roger.
I could do an F. The thing with what's from the ground up is I usually want to do those as like a community challenge.
Your target.
And we might even end up doing the Hapen one as from the ground up.
There they are.
It's a possibility. Jesus, Republic is really running away with this one.
I copy. Engines activated. Receiving orders. Firing.
Form up. Form up. Awaiting orders.
Because it'll either be a small progressive as the Hapens,
Tank brigade.
or
Target.
infantry. Oh shit. Or it'll be FTGU, because those are really the only either progressives or FTGU for the beginning. Those are the two options.
You go orders. Be advised. Support order acknowledged. We'll back you up. Roger that.
I also probably will start planning the next
Engaging.
community challenge soon too.
Ready for duty.
Yes, sir. Squadron.
We'll need to figure out what we want to do for the theme for that one.
We've secured a landing zone.
Because the minor faction mashup was the theme that I'd been thinking of for like
Behind you.
a year or two before doing it. Now it's done, so I don't know.
Reporting. Order acknowledged. Awaiting orders. Cover you.
Ready. Command received. Have a target in sight. Planted. Targeting. Reporting.
Yeah, that's one of the things we're gonna have to figure out in point 3, how we want to handle the stuff that currently gives you heroes in from the ground up. Whether we want to remove any of that or
Moving out.
Moving out.
plan around it, a bit more balanced.
Yes, sir.
Because as it is, it's just because there was no way
Aerial
to
artillery reporting.
for us to distinguish
Heading
Galactic
for attack
Conquest in
position.
the framework plugins, which now there is.
On my way.
Heading out. Ready to receive orders.
Ready. This way. Come on, man, this way.
Okay, you need to die. This is unacceptable.
Brigade standing by.
Comlink active. Let's move out.
Open fire. Armor ready. Attacking target.
That can explode too.
Attack that
That should be most of their... Yep, that's their artillery, all done.
Just give me a target. Over there.
awaiting orders.
Well, whatever we do with it, it has to be something that isn't going to mess with other parts of the mod either. It's kind of similarly with the research stuff. We do need to make sure we don't have like too many other buildable objects that'll cause lag. So especially for stuff that'd be being done for individual galactic conquests. So be careful there.
Right away.
Unit destroyed.
Heading out.
Which is one of the limiting factors on command staff, even though we're still got like the Jedi version and the clone commander version.
Copy. Yes, Commander. Awaiting orders.
Aerial artillery.
Made our
report.
way through most of the base. Did we destroy this? No, not quite.
Engaging.
Affirmative.
Target in sight.
You can set things to only be buildable in certain GCs, but it doesn't matter if you lock them. Like, that doesn't stop the calculations from taking place with the AI. Because it's still filtering through, seeing whether it can build them.
Yes, Commander.
Unit destroyed.
Order acknowledged. Heading out. Roger.
So basically, anything that's ever available to a faction will contribute to those problems.
For the enemy. Form up.
So it's always a bit of a
Firing.
cost-benefit analysis, trying to figure out like what's
Moving out.
Awaiting orders. On my way. Copy. Moving out. Right away.
Load your weapon.
yeah, primarily performance. There is also like organizational concerns, where like the more complex we make everything, and the more extra steps we add for adding any individual type of thing, generally we want to try to avoid that. We want it to be as simple as is reasonable. Because like the difficult part of pretty much any rework we do is that there's just so much shit everywhere that has to be accounted for. Like that's part of why Thrawn's Revenge ends up taking longer than Fall of the Republic, for instance. Because there's 30 factions of twice as much stuff with however many galactic conquests. I think like 20 galactic conquests.
System control achieved.
So the way that the era progressives are set up, for example, we have the 4 maps currently, soon to be 6, not in point 2, but let's just stick with the 4. We have 7 eras, so that's already 4 times 7. That's 28 versions of Galactic Conquest. But then each playable faction has to have their version of each era set up as a campaign. So that is how many factions do we have? We have like 9. Let's say it's 9 times 28. So there's 252 from that. Obviously, not every faction has every era available in every map, so it's closer to 150. But then when we add the other eras, it's a whole thing that like certain things are possible, but how much work do they end up being to put in? It's part of why we've got like a lot that we end up generating for the busy work. All right, and this is our final battle of the campaign. Yeah, garrisons 20 units per planet would make battles tough but intense. You can't really move. You can't really change the population cap on it, because there's always only 10 slots on the galactic level. So you can technically have stuff have like 20 pop cap in land. The invader would be what would typically get advantage of that. Then they'd overflow once you invade. You'd have like 20 things in 10 slots. So generally when you're doing trying to scale like defensive forces, you do that via the garrisons on structures, or that's just how you'd set up the company size for whatever you're setting up. You'd just make company sizes bigger to have bigger battles rather than trying to get around the pop cap. Space can just be whatever number you set it, but ground has more moving parts to deal with.
Choose your reinforcements.
Would you ever consider playing CSA? Yeah. We recently did the
Destination.
CSA single stream conquest, so
Moving to coordinates.
I think we'll probably skip off on that for now.
Reinforcements en route.
But they'll definitely get another campaign at some point. They wouldn't be the next thing we do, but I do
Ready to receive orders.
plan to do more CSA in the future.
Choose your reinforcements.
Standing by.
Especially doing like 2 campaigns at once, with one of them shorter, like this one. They'd probably be more in this slot of like the recorded offline. Well, we may as well, you know what? Umai, you can handle a bunch of mercenaries. Nolan does so many of these special unit types for that kind of stuff. Is Maya gonna die on her final battle?
Reporting. Order acknowledged.
I copy. On my way.
Getting cooked. Here comes the speeder.
Ready. Yes, sir. Attack. Roger.
Is she gonna make it? Maya has survived so much shit. Okay, can one of you, like, hit this guy? There you go.
Warm up. I copy. Order.
I don't know if there's much we can do about that landing zone. But, okay, now that we have that out, and brought more of these in. We need ISPs on there. ISPs on here. We also need something a bit more anti-vehicle.
Reporting.
That artillery's dead. I think we have some ATAAs. We do. Which show Zed did we lose? We lost that one. We should get that back in a second. Okay, let's get over there with those. And get you. Take cover. Are you gonna watch Halo when it airs? Yeah. I don't think it looks fantastic, but I'm gonna give it a try. What I have been watching, though, is Legend of Vox Machina. I have been very much enjoying. Very excited for. A lot more, like, I guess, like, crass humor than I was expecting. But still really liking it. A lot of, like, gore and stuff, especially in the first... Not gore. Eventually, these will all be cleared out. They can't last forever. That's 3 of the companies just gone. Let's get up and kill more of these PX-4s.
Awaiting order. Transport here. As you wish.
Okay. We did lose the artillery, but we won the day. Mostly.
Tank brigade ready.
Transport ready.
Lumaya is still alive. Despite being like 1 health about 30 times between both campaigns. Alright, let's see. The the Republic is sitting at 75% of the vote.
Ready.
So I think we have a pretty clear there.
I have the target in sight.
Ready. Attacking target.
There was one guy who was very convinced that we were ignoring or nerfing the CIS or whatever, because Let's Players, we wanted them to just do Republic campaigns and they'd win really well on that. But or they'd just be super overpowered for that. But he commented that on a CIS campaign that I was playing. So I don't know I don't know how that works, but
Attacking target.
yeah, we need to distract those AA turrets when they're coming in.
Over there. Target activated. Receiving orders. As you will. Proceeding. And receiving.
Here, go for that. There you go.
Moving out. Fire at will. Heading out.
Good distraction. Cost us one of them, but I think it was worth it. The Halo show is on Paramount Plus, I think. When it comes out. Does the CSA run through different eras? Yeah, the CSA, everything changes eras the same way. Depending on when you played it, like before we changed the UI and how the eras worked there, it would still say technically Tech Level 1 because some of the eras were 2 parts. Like Era 1 was 2 parts with Pestige and Isar.
Form up. Targeting.
There we go. Considered adding laser hardpoints to bombing runs. That'd be more like a fighter strike thing. I don't know that we'd be changing if we'll be changing bombing runs to be more of like the Phoenix Rising style. I don't think so, but that's it. We unlocked the Tapani sector, our first legitimacy unlock in a while. Probably should have checked the tab a bit earlier. But I'm going to load back in. We got 45% military efficiency, 100 conquest and kill efficiency, though, because we killed everything. But before we end the stream, I am going to load our final save. Because I want to see if I just missed the message for a few of them. No, it doesn't look like it. But that is it for our campaign here as the Greater Maldrood. I hope you guys have enjoyed it. Thank you so much for the support throughout it and the Ariado campaign. The first 2 weeks of the year especially were every video was hitting over 5,000 views, which was fantastic. Obviously, as the campaigns go on a little bit longer, it goes down. But hope you are all looking forward to the Hapen campaign coming up as well. That'll be starting in the next couple weeks. There's still a few things that need to be finished with that, but we'll be back on Sunday night, finishing off Divinity. There's going to be a lot of finales this week. That'll be on twitch.tv/CoreyLoses that'll probably be 8 p.m. Eastern on Sunday night. So yeah. Monday, we're going to be recording 2 more episodes of Ariado. Then next Friday, we'll record 2 more, unless we end up doing the single stream Galactic Conquest as the New Republic next Friday. In which case, that'd change the schedule a little bit. That could just as easily end up being a Monday. So we'll see what happens. I'll have the stream schedule up. Thanks again, though, everyone. Have a good day. See you next time.